a little cold in San Antonio today on day one. What was it like out there?
First day of winter ball. It was miserable, to be honest with you. The kids were fantastic. I don't know if the coaches did wear the hoot, but the kids were great, flying around. I told them it was by far, our most organized first practice we've had together. You can just tell we're a group. It's, pretty much our coaching staff in 3 years, going on year 3. I'd say we've been, 95% intact, from analysts, GAs, QCs, up to the strength staff, and that always really helps. And we have a core of our kids coming back. Well, obviously we lost some really good football players, but we have a core of our group back. So it was a very well executed practice. I haven't got to watch the video yet, and obviously with no pads on, you can look like a superstar in pajamas, but we were pleased.
We were speaking with Frank Harris earlier about Bulls Don't Care. Could you elaborate on that mentality?
Yeah, we just, our first year here, we were trying to get our culture established, and we worked really hard at just trying to really key in on what that hashtag 210 Triangular Toughness culture was going to be. And that's pretty much what we did the whole year, was just kind of, find our way. The second year, we were real big on, as expectations rise, the culture had to match it. And we expected to be picked pretty high, and we were, picked second in our conference, which was much higher than the year before. We were picked last. And this year, I read a book, many years ago by Jim Collins, From Good to Great, and I reread that my first year here, and because I wanted to, after we went 7-5, I wanted to see what that reminded myself of, what that was, from good to great, and now I'm rereading a book he wrote on Built to Last, and I think the bull rider's name was Tough. If I try to say it, I'll get probably blackballed from the rodeo, so I think it's Heaterman or whatever his name was. Thank God, it wasn't too bad then. I think he was 3-time national champion of the year, and he always said, to people, that how did he keep coming back? And he said, the bull doesn't care. When he gets back on that bull doesn't care if he won it or not. Well, no one's going to care that we won it last year, and we need to have the same mindset. And so we're really studying that book and talking to our kids about the programs or businesses that over 100 years sustained it. And that's what I keep asking our kids. Are we just going to be a blip on the radar, a flash in the pan, or are we built to last? Do we have what it takes to sustain championship football? So that's what we mean by the bull don't care.
How do you guys deal with pressure? Do you feel the pressure going into this new season because you did so well last season?
No, pressure's a privilege. I know y'all have heard me say it a million times, but that's what you're supposed to do. If they didn't care, we got a lot more cameras here than normal, because we're better than we used to be. Back in the day, you didn't have that kind of attention, right? So we're very excited about it. We have a very, very tough schedule. We have a tougher schedule than we did last year, so we're excited about that. There's a great chance those first 3 games could be against top 25 teams, and 2 of those 3 would be on the road.
A year ago, you guys are still practicing at the old field, and you mentioned a lot of the things you guys accomplished from that till now. How do you kind of put in perspective just what this last year is like in the ground you guys have covered?
Yeah, I've tried to do a better job personally, Greg, of reflecting a little bit and enjoying some of this. It's not my nature, but as I've gotten older, I have come to appreciate, and that was one of the things we've really tried to talk to our kids about, is when you study cultures that decline, civilizations that have gone away, what are some of those things that contribute to that? And a lot of it is forgetting where you came from, right? So we're very intentional to do just what you're talking about, to not, because we've got some recruits now that have never seen where we used to dress, right? And we still show pictures of that locker room we used to be in, the weight room we used to be in, where we came from, just to remind these kids.
It can be tough for the players to kind of keep that same perspective that you have as somebody who's been around longer. Did you notice any difference today, coming into a spring as champions versus the attitude they had last year?
We try to remind them. We do try to remind them. I mean, factually, we are the Conference USA champions. That is something they need to be proud of. but factually, nobody cares. I mean, because they're going to be coming to take that away from us, and that's going to be. We won't sneak up on anybody, but we didn't sneak on anybody last year. Everybody knew we were coming, and everybody knew we had a really good team. So we're kind of used to that. It's just, we got to replace the obvious, right? That's a really good corner, as it was proven yesterday at the Combine. We already knew, but the country found out how special Tariq was. They haven't even seen Clarence Hicks yet. I mean, Chuck Wiley's going to make a show. Bull's going to make a show. Lorenzo Dantzler. Those are some really good football players that we were missing off our defense. Offensively, Leroy being gone, Spencer being gone, Sincere being gone. Those are very valuable members of our team last year that we're going to have to replace. And I can't tell you how many guys today in stretch line, I looked them right in the eye and said, this is a very, very important spring for you. So we're excited about that task of rebuilding this team and to see what the future holds for us.
Can you share a little bit about what your running back depth chart and room looks like this spring, Coach?
Yeah. Obviously, we've got, the junior college running back in that we don't know much about. Obviously, we've only been through one day with him, but we're expecting big things from him. Played at a really good JUCO, big, strong, fast kid, and we expect Ty to play well. We've got Kadrick Cobbs back, who has had a really impressive camp getting ready for it. He's preparing from an ACL last year. So we've got that, but we've lost, the top three backs. The only thing other than losing the bowl game, which was obviously not ideal, but everybody that played in replacement of those 23 players was a kid that was going to be helping us the next year, except for the running back room. We had Sincere out there. Nope, he didn't play. Oh, Brendan Brady. Well, he's gone now. Then you had, Billy, and Billy's gone. So I wish we could have had a young back out there. We've moved Julon to running back as well. So we'll just see how that shakes out. Jalen Lott's back there competing for that job, and we'll just have to see. And DeAnthony's still recovering from that knee injury, and St. Augustine, Kavorian Barnes is still repairing from his foot injury. So we had two really good freshman backs that we had planned on playing quite a bit last year, and they both got, severely injured, and they're still recovering from those injuries. So that room is, there's going to be a lot of prayer put in to make sure we get that room right. And Coach Griffin, has done a fantastic job through the years with me, and I'm sure he'll develop us a couple of backs.
You mentioned the staff continuity in general, but you do have some changes at the coordinator positions in the last few months. Is part of the spring about adjusting to that, or is it kind of all the same deal for you guys?
Well, there's always a slight adjustment, but this is the fourth coordinator now, and our little brief history here together. So it's just part of it. I did have some fun with the defense today, poking the bear a little bit about that. And they assured me that they'll still be just fine. So we'll find out.
What does Sadiq Haynes bring to your group coming back here?
I don't think I can officially talk about him just yet. Is that right, Kyle? I don't think he's been announced as from officially yet. But if that were the way we were going to go, he'd be very energetic and a guy that knows our kids, and that would be an exciting deal for us. I know our kids think a lot of Sadiq, as do we. So it'd be another opportunity for me to move up somebody from within, which we've tried to continue to promote guys that have come in here as GAs, QCs, off the field guys. I just think that's good for staff morale. It's good for our kids because they're familiar, same verbiage. They know the personalities. If we were to go that way.
Jeff, what was your reaction to watching your guys at the Combine this weekend?
Oh, like a dad, you're nervous. You know them so well. You know all their habits. You've seen them do it a million times, and you just want them to do what they can do. And they were concerned about Spencer. Could he carry over 300? I think he's 310, 311, and still ran a 5.2. So I was happy for him on that. Sincere was a little disappointed. He won't tell you all that, but he wanted to be 4.55, and he is very capable of running 4.55. I think he'll run that at our place on the 23rd, but he was a 4.6. So I spoke to him this morning. He was upset would be too strong of a word. He did so good on his drill work, and he had so much production in his career. And I know him. I know he crushed his interview skills because he's a joy to interview and talk to. So I know he communicates very well. Then obviously, Reek the Freak, we knew that was going to happen, and I was really glad, especially when I saw because I know he wanted to break the 4.30, and when unofficially they had him 4.30, 4.31, and even on the video I put out, you could hear me in the background if you listen carefully going, "Oh," because it was 4.30, and I wanted to be an under. But when the official came out, he's 4.26. That was awesome. Then the 42-inch vertical was just our normal shoes that we wear like to the hotel, which is hilarious that all my kids noticed that. I would have never noticed that in a million years, but my kids didn't miss anything. So we're thrilled for those kids. And I repeat, I think we've got more kids coming. I think Clarence Hicks is going to have a really big day, and I wouldn't be surprised. Watch old Billy. We've had a lot of guys that reach out to us because he played so much special teams. I think in Billy's career he had over 400 snaps of special team reps. And I would love for some of those kind of kids to pop up on the scene here late.
All right, Jeff.
Thank y'all. First day of winter ball in the books.